And do you have a checklist, okay, that the audience can use to avoid unnecessary meetings?
Now, for anyone who is being invited to a meeting, which is most of us, we get invited to a lot more than we need usually. And the two things to consider are, do I know what this is about? And do I know if I can contribute to the purpose and the output? And if the answer to either one of those is no, we have a choice. And the choice is to go and ask. If you invited me to a meeting and I didn't know what it was about, before I say yes, I need to ask, hey, can you tell me what this is about? What is the purpose? What will we produce? So that I can choose if it's a good use of my time and know whether I'm going to contribute. And if I have two meetings at the same time, I have to pick which one. I need that information. The second option, you need to be a little more brave. If you don't know what the meeting is about, decline.
Let's assume somebody has gotten into the meeting and knowingly, unknowingly, whatever, but probably meeting is going off track. So, what are the early signs somebody can show if it is really going off the track?
Another sign is look at the clock, look at your watch or the time on your computer. If you are halfway through the meeting time and you are not halfway towards producing that defined output, you're off track. You know, if let's say we were meeting to talk about 5 ideas for improving the podcast. It's a great podcast. I'm sure we don't need that many ideas, but let's say we were looking at 5 ideas to grow the podcast. And it's a 1-hour meeting. If after 30 minutes we've only talked about one idea, we're not going to fit the other 4 into the next 30.
So, Chris, you have experienced over 15,000 meetings, right? And what are the most common reasons meetings fail or become painful? So, folks, you have tuned into TGV and hearty welcome to the Guiding Voice podcast series, the world's only quadrilingual podcast at this moment of recording. And we are trying to embark into multiple languages as we speak. And here we embark on transformative conversations for a better future. And we want to simplify and amplify your journey to success. I'm your host, Naveen Samala, dedicated to making the world a better place by bringing you wisdom through valuable discussions with experts designed to simplify and amplify your success. And thank you so much for tuning in. So, folks, we are joined by a repeat guest on our show, Chris Fenning. We have featured him as part of TGV episode number 421 last year in the year 2024 as part of Global Speaker Festival. And today we are having him once again on the show. He is the author of Effective Meetings, Great Results, Less Pain Every Time. And he's also a global expert in transforming meetings into productive, engaging, and also meaningful conversations. And having attended and led over 15,000 meetings, Chris shares actionable insights to help teams to save time, reduce frustration, and most importantly, achieve better outcomes. So, Chris, welcome back to the Guiding Voice podcast series. How are you doing today?
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me back. I'm doing very well, thank you. Very well indeed. It's always nice to be a repeat guest because it means the listeners got value from the last time that we spoke. And there's nothing better than helping people learn stuff when they get
Absolutely.
better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Chris, why should somebody tune into our episode today? What is the new thing that they're going to learn?
Well, people should listen today if they have ever experienced sitting in a meeting and wondering, why are we all here? If they've left a meeting thinking, well, that was a waste of time. In this session, we're going to cover some really simple things that can make a big difference to meetings, not only if you're the leader of a meeting, but if you are attending somebody else's, you can use what we're going to discuss today to make those meetings shorter, more effective, and let's hope less painful.
So, folks, stop wasting time. The secrets to meetings that actually work with Chris Fenning. That's the topic today. And before we get into the topic, Here is an exciting twist as always. Let us tickle our guest's brain once again. So, Chris, again, I'm coming up with a new set of words. All right. So, I know you're ready. So, let's get started. My first word is adventure,
Whitewater rafting.
music,
Dueling cellos. I've been listening to a lot of cello music recently, so dueling cellos.
and then innovation,
Dyson.
dream.
To travel more than I do at the moment.
My next word is travel.
So travel, discovering new things.
Friendship.
It is worth the effort.
hmm Secret.
I can't tell you that.
Mystery.
It's a really good genre for books. A really good genre for books.
Right. hmm Next word is passion.
Passion fruit. It is my favorite flavor. Passion fruit.
hmm Passion fruit. All right. And here comes the last word, happiness.
Happiness. It's time with family and friends.
Amazing. So after that amazing first rapid fire round, let's get the ball rolling and we'll dive into the mainstream questions. So Chris, you have experienced over 15,000 meetings, right? And what are the most common reasons meetings fail or become painful?
First of all, I need to say that is a ridiculously high number of meetings. And yeah, 15,000, it's not a made up number. That is how many there were. So real experience being shared here today, as well as talking to people who collectively, I talk to people who've had over 50,000 meetings. So there's a lot of pain, but also a lot of good in there. So what causes bad meetings? Well, first of all, we're never taught how to run them. We don't get taught in school or university, and we go to work and we are just expected to be able to run meetings. And we're not taught how to do it. What that leads to is a lack of preparation and structure. And those two things cause problems across all meetings. No preparation and no structure equals bad meetings.
Oh, that was crisp and clear. And why do we keep scheduling meetings that could have been an email?
Well, again, lack of training, but also a bit of laziness and a little bit of lack of thought. It's easy to send an email. It's convenient for me, but also it's easy to set up a meeting. We've sort of got into this culture of, I need to ask someone a question, set up a meeting. Need to solve a problem, set up a meeting. Got some project work to do. Let's set up a meeting. It's sort of that default thing that we just do. And instead, we should take a little bit of time to say, are there better ways to do it? Particularly this meeting could have been an email, because it takes almost less effort to set up a meeting. Go to the calendar, find a slot. Even the names auto-populate. You don't even have to write out someone's complete name or email anymore. And 10 seconds, 15 seconds later, you can send an invite and you've taken that time from somebody else.
I can relate to that. In the regular corporate world, I think that is the most common thing. And yeah, glad you pointed that out. And can you break down the real cost of bad meetings for a company or a team?
Yeah. So the intangible costs are frustration, a general sense of, not another meeting. There can be reputation damage. If I schedule meetings that aren't effective, my reputation will be hurt. People will not think highly of me. They won't come to my meetings, which makes the future meetings even less effective. So that makes it worse and it gets into this cycle. But there's also a financial cost for businesses. If anyone listening to this, in your next meeting, count the number of people in the room and pick a rough number for what you think their hourly rate is. Now, that could range from a very small amount up to the CEO's huge pay packet, depending where you are in the organization. But just add up the number of people, estimate what their hourly pay would be, and work out the cost of that meeting. And then compare that against what you produce in that meeting. And is that product actually valuable? Because here's the thing that really surprises me. And I don't know if you've experienced this as well, but most companies will not let people spend company money. You don't get a company credit card. If you want to buy something, you have to get 5 approvals from the senior vice president of wherever just to spend $79 on, or whatever the local currency is, 79, a very small amount, but it has this huge amount of approval and sign off. But any one of us can schedule a meeting with anybody that we want, and that is totally fine. If you have 10 people in a meeting and it's $50 an hour for those people, well, that meeting is $500. Well, if you do that every week for a year, that's $25,000 that you've spent of people's time. The company wouldn't let you spend that money as cash, but they are quite happy to let us all spend other people's time.
Right. Totally relatable. And I drive a lot of workshops, especially lean related trainings and all. And I tell the first thing that I enter into the room, if I have 20 participants, I tell them company is investing 20 hours and you can calculate your hourly rate. And if you don't make most of this particular workshop, that is the effort wasted. So that's why in case if you're not interested for whatever reason, please step out.
Oh, nice. And you give them that option to leave. That's really good.
I do that because
Nice.
training is something, right? It has to be embraced with positivity and open mind. If a leader forces them to attend that training, it doesn't make any sense, right? All right.
Exactly. And that's one of the methods in the book is when you start a meeting, you should invite all the people with a specific reason that they can contribute to the purpose of that meeting, that they will help produce the output you need, whether that's a decision, a list of new issues, or a solution to a problem. But meetings get forwarded a lot. So if there are people who turn up to your meeting and you don't know why they are there, give them the option to, first of all, ask them, hey, what brought you to this meeting today? What do you think you're able to contribute? And then give them the option to leave. How great would that be? You get forwarded a meeting invitation. You're not sure what it's for. You turn up and the person says, hey, if this isn't valuable for you, you're welcome to go. No problem. How good would that be?
Yeah, got it. And talk to us about the most common mistakes people make in either remote meetings or hybrid meetings.
Yeah, there is one mistake above all others with particularly hybrid meetings. And the problem with hybrid meetings is whoever is leading the meeting focuses on their format of the meeting. So if the person leading it is in the room with a few other people, they will focus on only those in the room and generally forget to engage and include the people on the phone or on the video. And the same is true the other way. If we're all, if 10 of us are on a video call and 5 people are in one room, well, we will see 10 faces and then we'll see one room and we won't connect with those people. And this shows up if you did an online Zoom call and you wanted to do a poll or a questionnaire. Well, the people in the room may only have one laptop, so all 5 of them get one vote, but everybody on the screen gets one vote each. And so there's an imbalance. And so what's the solution to this? Is it takes conscious effort. If you are leading the meeting, you need to put more effort into the people that you can't see or that aren't in the same channel as you. And that extra effort means pausing, asking if they have questions, ensuring they have the opportunity for input rather than just those who are right there or just those who are on the screen. They're really paying attention. So it makes facilitation harder, but we should really do it. Otherwise, we're just wasting everybody's time.
Yeah, good one. And how can someone quickly determine if a meeting is necessary or if a simple email or a chat over instant messenger will do?
Yeah, there are two things that tell you whether a meeting is needed. Does it require a real-time conversation? Does it need a conversation? And can it be done asynchronously? Can it be done by other people providing input one after another or on their own? And if it needs a real conversation and it can't be done asynchronously, then have the meeting. You've got some good reasons to do it. But if it can be done asynchronously, if it doesn't need a real-time conversation, look to see whether you can do a shared document update, a Slack message, do it by email. Is there some other way to get that piece of work done?
I think that's a great point. In fact, it reminded me about my recent meeting with my podcast team. So recently we launched our Gujarati podcast, which is our sixth language podcast. And the team is not familiar with the tool yet.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. So I told them, like, if at all you want me to share the screen, then wait for me, or else let's do over phone. And finally, since it required screen sharing, then again I've scheduled a meeting and I've done that. And I think it is totally relatable what you mentioned here. And moving ahead,
Oh,
do have a
that's great.
checklist.
Great example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do have a checklist, okay, that the audience can use to avoid unnecessary meetings.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll answer it from the purpose, from the perspective of somebody leading a meeting and then somebody being a participant in another meeting. So for the person leading, we're saying, does this need a real-time conversation? Does this need other people's input rather than I'm just telling them things? Does it actually need other people to do something in the meeting? And do I know what I need to produce by the end of the meeting? So does it need to be real time? Does it need other people's input? And do I even know what I'm trying to achieve in the meeting? And if the answer to any of those is no, you're not ready to have the meeting. If the answer is yes, then go ahead and schedule it, but do it in a good way. Now, for anyone who is being invited to a meeting, which is most of us, we get invited to a lot more than we lead usually. And the two things to consider are, do I know what this is about? And do I know if I can contribute to the purpose and the output? And if the answer to either one of those is no, we have a choice. And the choice is to go and ask. If you'd invited me to a meeting and I didn't know what it was about, before I say yes, I need to ask, hey, can you tell me what this is about? What is the purpose? What will we produce? So that I can choose if it's a good use of my time and know whether I'm going to contribute. And if I have two meetings at the same time, I have to pick which one. I need that information. The second option, you need to be a little more brave. If you don't know what the meeting is about, decline. Now, if it was my boss, I would have the conversation. But if it was someone else in the company and I get 5 invites with no information in it, then if you can't tell me why we're meeting, I'm not available at that time. But it's brave. You have
I
to be
think that's a
brave
good
to do
idea.
that.
Yeah, that's a good idea because in case if we decline it multiple times, let's assume, then probably the other person will also be serious about it in terms of mentioning the agenda and what is expected out of it and all, right? That's a good one. And
Yeah.
Chris, let's move forward
Yeah. Now you
and
want to
let's
still have the
assume,
conversation.
yeah, yeah. Let's assume somebody has gotten into the meeting and knowingly, unknowingly, whatever. But probably meeting is going off track. So, what are the early signs somebody can show if it is really going off the track?
Yeah. So if you think of a meeting as, imagine a piece of paper in front of you, or get a piece of paper and you've got a start point and an end point at the meeting. And the end point is we have produced what we needed to: a decision, a list of ideas, a solution to a problem. As you go through the meeting, and you can do this with literally with a pen or pencil, or you can do it mentally, think about how far away from that central line is the conversation. If you think of the conversation as a journey, is it getting us closer to that output, or is it moving in a different direction? And as soon as you see the conversation is moving in a different direction that doesn't relate to the output, is spinning, and we're not actually moving forwards towards producing what we need, those are good early signs that the meeting is going off track. And we can talk about how to address that in just a moment. Another sign is look at the clock, look at your watch or the time on your computer. If you are halfway through the meeting time and you are not halfway towards producing that defined output, you're off track. If let's say we were meeting to talk about 5 ideas for improving the podcast. It's a great podcast. I'm sure we don't need that many ideas, but let's say we were looking at 5 ideas to grow the podcast, and it's a 1-hour meeting. If after 30 minutes we've only talked about one idea, we're not going to fit the other 4 into the next 30. At that half-hour point, I need to be looking at the time versus the progress, and to make a decision. Do I need to change how we're running the meeting? Or do I need to change the meeting to say, today we're only going to look at 2, and I will schedule another meeting to look at the other 3? So those are 2 key things to show you whether the meeting is going off track.
Yeah, good one. I think these are great pointers. And if you start focusing on those things, I think we'll be highly productive. And Chris, let's move to the next one. And this is more from the leader's perspective. So, how do you think a leader can gently refocus a meeting without embarrassing anyone in case if it is going off the track or not going as expected?
Yeah. And I love that you asked about in a way that means not embarrassing and not just using positional power of you have gone off track. You will do what I say and get back. Let's assume we have good leaders, which would be nice. The first thing to do is acknowledge the conversation, the topic, the thing that's happening. Because if a conversation is going off track, it means people are involved. They're contributing something, which is great. But is it the right thing for that meeting? So acknowledge, say, hey, hearing a lot of interesting points. That is a valid thing. Thank you for your contribution. I understand this is an important topic. Phrases like that can be a simple acknowledgement of what's being discussed. And once you've acknowledged, you then validate if it's relevant or valuable. So, yeah, I know we're doing a lot of great, I hear what you're talking about. It's an important problem. The reason we're in this meeting today is for this purpose to produce this output. That topic of conversation isn't directly related to what we're doing. So acknowledge, validate that it's relevant, and then redirect. And the way we redirect is by having a really clear topic, purpose, and output when you plan the meeting, when you introduce the meeting, and then you can bring people back to that purpose and output after you've acknowledged, after you've validated that their stuff is not relevant or off topic. You can remind everybody to say, hey, folks, the reason we're here is to achieve this purpose and produce this output. So can we bring the conversation back to that?
Yeah, good one. And now that you mentioned about the topic, purpose, and the outcome or output, I think you call it as a TPO method, right? So, why do you think it is a game changer
Yes.
for meeting productivity?
It is a game changer, and I've been mentioning it all the way through this, because if there is one thing that will make 90% of meetings better, it is TPO. So learning a new skill, learning any sort of communication skill takes time and effort and is complicated and it depends on situations. For meetings, the best thing that any of us can do is to follow the TPO method, topic, purpose, output. And here's why. If you think about a meeting, you've got before the meeting, introducing it, running it, ending it, and then afterwards. You've got those stages for every meeting. TPO makes every one of those stages easier and better. So, for example, you're planning a meeting, you need to know what is the topic, what is the purpose, what are we going to do, and what will we produce at the end. Well, that tells you who to invite. Who are the people that can contribute to the purpose and are needed for the output? It tells you what activities to do in the meeting. It also tells you what to write in the invitation. Hey, everyone, we're going to talk about this topic. Here's the purpose. We're having this meeting because by the end of the meeting, we will have done, etc. So it gives you everything you need to plan. Then you introduce the meeting. You start the meeting. Well, everyone who's coming is coming from other things. They're thinking about other jobs, other tasks, lunch. They're not focused on your meeting. You need to get everybody focused on the purpose of that meeting. We'll start with topic, purpose, and then output. That also tells them what they're meant to achieve as a group before the end of the meeting. And that sets you up to keep things on track during the meeting. If we used this in the, how to stop things going off track, TPO. When you wrap up the meeting at the end, did you achieve the output? Did you produce it? It makes everything easier. It's the one framework that makes every part of planning, starting, running, and ending a meeting easier and clearer for everybody.
Right. Got it. And can you also share an example where a clear TPO introduction changed a meeting instantly?
Yes. Yeah. So this is an example that I observed rather than did myself. I was in a big project program management office, and 50 or so project managers and admins had been pulled together for an emergency meeting. And a senior person came in and started telling us about some stuff. And after about 5 minutes, no one really knew where this was going. Why should we care? We were all in the room, eyes open. It was a senior person. We were being respectful, but it wasn't really obvious what was happening. And one of their colleagues stepped in and gave us sort of 3 or 4 bullet points in which they gave the topic, the purpose, and the output. And what they said was, hey, as a department, we have 20-something projects ongoing at the moment. There is a new high-profile project coming. The reason we've gathered you here today is we need to talk about how that high-profile project will impact our teams and how do we get resources to run it. And by the end, we want to have a draft outline of people that we can assign to this project. Topic, purpose, and output. And at that point, everybody leaned in, everybody started to focus, and we got really good engagement. And so people realized how it impacted them. TPO made everyone in the room lean forward.
And Chris, this has been an amazing conversation with a lot of insights to be productive and to make most out of the meetings. And it's time for us to add some more spice and some more excitement to the episode, which means it brings us to the second rapid fire round. And if you're ready, let's get started. Okay, my first bullet is which talk to us about worst meeting you ever attended and describe it just in one word.
The worst meeting, the one word for it would be aggressive. And it was a senior leader on video, but aggressive behavior, language, body language, just crushing the junior people with their positional power. And there was no need for any of it. And it was just an opportunity for them to make people feel bad. It was a terrible meeting.
Right, got it. And one phrase that instantly kills a meeting.
What would everyone like to talk about today? Because it shows there was no planning. You That's not a reason. Like, if you don't know what the purpose of the meeting is, don't have it.
Yeah. Okay. And email or meeting, which one do you secretly prefer?
It depends. So it really depends on the purpose, the situation, the time frames. So what I prefer is using the right one.
Hmm. And what is your biggest meeting pet peeve?
Mm, Blank invitations. You wouldn't send a blank invitation to a party, so don't do it for a work meeting.
And most overrated meeting advice you have ever heard?
Oh, that's easy. Have an agenda. It's terrible advice. Agendas don't fix meetings. Having a clear topic, purpose, and output fixes a meeting. And if you've got multiple topics, you have multiple TPOs. An agenda it doesn't help.
Yeah. Yeah. And then one habit everyone should stop in meetings immediately.
We should all stop assuming that the meeting leader is the one responsible for the meeting going well. We are all responsible for a meeting going well.
I love it. I love it. And let's say if AI ran your meetings perfectly, what would be missing?
Human connection, having space for us to be people. And that means not only just interacting as individuals, but allowing conversations to go in different directions. Because taking that direct straight line from the beginning of the meeting to the output isn't how creativity happens. It doesn't include all of the extra things and the ways that we think. So the human element is what would be missing.
All right. Got it. And after that amazing second rapid fire, let's flip back to the mainstream. So, Chris, if someone wants to improve their meetings this week, what is the first step?
The first step, go and look at every meeting invitation you have sent or you have received and see, does it include in the invitation what is the topic, what is the purpose of the meeting, and what is the output? If it's your meeting, include those 3 bullet points. If it's a meeting you're attending, ask for those 3 bullet points. Your meetings will be better. I guarantee it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So, that was an amazing conversation once again. And Chris, thank you so much for being part of our journey. And I really appreciate it. And I wish you all the very best about your book. And we will be including your book's link in the show notes. So, for those of you who are interested, so please grab a copy. And apart from that, you can also connect with Chris. You'll find Chris' LinkedIn profile as well. And Chris, do you want our audience to connect through any other channels? Do let me know.
No, LinkedIn is the best way to get in touch with me. And for your audience, the book Effective Meetings is being translated into multiple other regional dialects and languages for India and some of the surrounding countries as well. So if it's not just going to be available in English, it's going to take a few months. But all my books have been translated into a great range of regional languages. So
Excellent.
take a look for those.
Excellent. I think that's a wonderful news. All right. So thank you once again, and I wish you all the very best. All right. So,
Thank you.
friends, yeah. So, friends, that was our episode with Chris Fenning. And before we jump into the fun trivia section, we have a quick request. If you have enjoyed the conversation and found it useful, request you to share with at least 3 of your friends or colleagues or family members who would like TGV. So, spread the knowledge and help others grow just like you. Now it's time for us to jump into the trivia segment. Having had amazing conversation with Chris Fenning on how to run effective meetings, I thought of presenting you few lesser known facts about meetings. The first one is brain science related fact. Humans can focus intensely for about 90 minutes at a time. Back to back meetings often exceed this, which means there is a reduction in the effectiveness. And the second fact is that the number of unnecessary meetings has increased by over 50% in the last decade, and largely due to digital communication tools creating constant virtual check ins. Third fact is that teams with clear agendas and defined goals are 50% more likely to leave meetings feeling productive. And the next one is The power of no is real. Professionals who decline unnecessary meetings report higher job satisfaction and also better focus. And the last fact is that early morning meetings, right? Research suggests that productivity dips by up to 20% for meetings scheduled right after lunch or first thing in the morning without preparation. So, likewise, if you know any interesting facts related to meetings, do let us know. If you're watching this episode on YouTube, you can comment there, or you can also comment on social media platforms wherever you found this episode. So, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in and also for being part of our awesome TGV family. Until next time, take care, stay inspired, and remember the best is yet to come. Goodbye for now. See you all in the next episode with another amazing guest. Take care. Love you all. Bye bye.